What's going on, guys? The NFL Draft is here. It is draft day. The first round of the NFL Draft will happen in just a few hours, and I am very excited. I'm looking forward to this day for a very long time, and I've talked about the Minnesota Vikings number 3 overall selection quite a bit, and I'm just going to have one more video before the draft, but I've been reading a lot of mock drafts lately, looking at different selections and different scenarios, the way things could pan out. And one thing I'm seeing a little bit more and more is the possibility of the Vikings taking Morris Claiborne or trading out of their number 3 pick. And I just want to break down all of the scenarios the way I see it, whether the Vikings take Justin Blackmon, Morris Claiborne, or Matt Kalil. I'm not expecting them to trade down, although Rick Spielman has said it's still possible. He would accept an offer that he just could not refuse, but I really hope and expect the Vikings will pick at number 3 overall. And of course, if you watch my videos, you know that I am definitely supporting Matt Kalil, and I want the Vikings to take him at number 3. I think that's a plug and play. He can be a franchise caliber left tackle like Joe Thomas or Jake Long. And one of the things a lot of people say is that you don't need a franchise left tackle to be a Super Bowl contending team, and that is very true. Obviously, the Dolphins and the Browns have not done very much since getting their left tackles. But also look at those teams. They're both uncertain with their quarterback situations and uncertain with the weapons they have around them. I mean, the Dolphins' best weapon right now, I would say, is Reggie Bush because they traded away Brandon Marshall, whereas the Browns, no more Peyton Hillis, and they have to rebuild a lot of those weapons on offense. So I think the Vikings, they have Adrian Peterson, Percy Harvin, and are trying to develop Christian Ponder. I think it's an entirely different scenario, and I really want Matt Kalil to go to the Vikings because he can go start at left tackle. The current left tackle is Charlie Johnson. He can be moved to guard, and if he can play well, it's a two-position fix. The Vikings also signed Jeff Schwartz this offseason. John Sullivan broke out last year, had a great year playing center, and so the Vikings, if they get Kalil, could have a potentially great offensive line next year. And if you want a young quarterback to be successful like Christian Ponder, you want to keep him upright, and of course you want to give him weapons. So a lot of people are saying they should go for Justin Blackmon, and to me, it does not make sense at number 3 because I don't see Blackmon as a number 3 overall pick. I don't think he's that good of a player. He's not going to be Megatron in my eyes. So if the Vikings did get Justin Blackmon, of course you'd have Blackmon, Harvin, and Peterson. That's a dynamic triple threat right there. But if you look where a lot of still great talent is in the 3rd and 4th rounds, there's a lot of great receivers and corners late in the draft. This is not a deep draft for left tackles. I don't feel confident with the Vikings taking anybody else at left tackle really other than Matt Kalil. So now look at Morris Claiborne out of LSU. The cornerback could be a great man-to-man corner, but first of all, the Vikings play a cover 2 mainly zone defense. He would get wasted in the Vikings scheme, although there is flexibility. They would obviously still run some man-to-man last year. Chris Cook did a little bit of that when he played against the Lions. He did actually a pretty good job against Megatron, then obviously he had his legal situation. And perhaps if Cook never had that situation, we would not be even saying Claiborne's name right now, because I think he could be a starting corner on this team, and obviously Winfield is getting old. And they signed Chris Carr and Zach Bowman in the offseason, so perhaps they can get a cornerback later in the draft, probably a 2nd or 3rd, 4th round, somewhere in there that can be a starter or someone who can at least compete for a starting spot right now, because if you look at where the best depth is, it's at wide receiver and corner if you want to look at left tackle. Charlie Johnson, we're not even happy with our left tackle starter right now, and our backup is a 7th rounder or a 6th rounder out of last year, I forget. And he's still a very raw talent. So once again, that points into the direction of Kalil being the better pick. I just think if you work together, look at number 3 overall and number 35 overall. Those are the Vikings' first 2 selections. If the Vikings take Kalil in the 1st, they can go Harrison Smith in the 2nd if he is available there. If the Packers or the Patriots don't pick him up in the 1st round, or you can get a guy like Josh Robinson, Alshon Jeffrey. And so for a long time now, I've wanted the Minnesota Vikings to take Matt Kalil, and I've voiced all my opinions, and it'll all be decided tonight when the Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. 3rd overall pick. It's the first pick that's going to have a little bit of drama because we already know the first 2 selections. And then when the clock is on Minnesota, I will be nervous, and perhaps if the Vikings do take Claiborne, I would feel a lot better if I saw him catch an interception off of an Aaron Rodgers pass and take it for a touchdown. But right now, I'm saying what I've been saying, and that is the Minnesota Vikings need to take Matt Kalil and address other positions later in the draft with their 10 total selections. I'll definitely be watching all 3 days to watch all of the 10 of the Vikings picks. And I will definitely analyze their entire draft after Saturday is over and round 7 is complete. The Vikings have 10 picks. We'll see what they do with them, if they trade up in some scenarios to get a player that they want, or if they trade down and try to accumulate more picks and get some more prospects on this team. We'll see what happens anyways. All that I know is that I want Matt Kalil to go number 3 overall in the Minnesota Vikings. I hope it happens. And I'll be back later with some more Minnesota Vikings offseason talk. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you after hopefully the Vikings draft Kalil.